All right, this is 6.4, page 309 in your book. So let's take a look and see if I can get my pen to work for me. 309. Here we go. Adding and subtracting mixed numbers. So we've been working on adding and subtracting fractions. So simplest form, again, means that I sometimes call they're reduced. Simplest form means it's as small as the number can get. A mixed number is a number that has a whole number and a fraction. So we're going to add and subtract mixed numbers. So let's take a look at one. There's 4 steps basically, same steps. Rewrite the fractions using the LCD if necessary. Add or subtract the fractions. Add or subtract the whole numbers. And then simplify if possible. So take a minute and write these 4 steps down right here. Turn this off if you need to, pause it, whatever it takes, write them down, and then let's do some. So example number 1, adding mixed numbers. Corey is training to compete in a race. What is the total distance he will run in the race? So he's running 2 1/3, get my pin to work, and also 4 1/3. Well, back on our first steps, it says to get the LCD if necessary. Well, it's not necessary because they already have the same, so let's add the fractions. 1/3 plus 1/3 is 2/3, and 4 plus 2 is 6. So he would run 6 2/3 miles. There you see, they lined them up just like I like to do. I like to put them on top of each other. They're up and down, vertical format. So let's find the sums. 1 4/9, my pin, 1 4/9 plus 3 1/9. So the first thing you do is look at the denominators. They're the same, so you can go ahead and just add the tops and then add the full whole numbers. And then you're done. So again, 3 3/11, 2 5/11 is 8/11, 5 8/11. And nothing, you look at the fractions, make sure you look at them and decide whether or not they can be simplified or reduced, and neither one of them could so far. 2 1/5, I'm not even going to rewrite those. I can add, that'll be 4/5. And then my fractions, it's 4 4/5. So it works out great. This one, 2 1/7 plus 1 3/7, they have common denominators. So we just add the fractions, that will be 4/7, and 2 plus 1 is 3, and I can't reduce, so 3 4/7. There, I wondered when they were going to get harder. Okay, example number 2 now. Notice now these do not have common denominators. So here's where I definitely write them in a vertical format. It's supposed to be a 1 3/4. So we do the same thing that we did before. We see we have to get common denominators, and the common denominator will be 12. So times 3, that's going to be a 9. That already has a 12. So I add my fractions, will be 10/12. Then don't forget to add the whole numbers, so it's 3 10/12. And 10/12 are both even, so 2 can go into those. So it's 3 5/6. Make sure you carry the 3 with it after you reduce your fraction. And they're doing the same thing, and they got the same answer. So we are doing some more guided practice here. We have some with 1 4/9 plus 3 1/3. Now, we got a 3 and a 9. Let's see, the common denominator would be 9. So that's going to be a 4. So times 3, that's going to be a 3. So I get 7/9, and 3 plus 1 is 4. So 4 7/9. That's our answer. So let's try 6 3/4 plus 3 1/5. Common denominator is going to be 20. So it's essentially the same thing. It's just you have to remember to include the whole numbers with it. 5 times 5, that's going to be 15. 15 plus 4 is 19/20, and 6 plus 3 is 9. So 9 19/20, and you can see it's there. 7 4 7/8 plus 5 1/4, and these aren't too bad. Common denominator is going to be 8 times 2 times 2, so it's going to be 9/8 and 9. Now let's just focus on the fraction. that is an improper fraction. That fraction is equal to 8 goes into 9 one whole time with 1 left over. So that's 1 1/8. Along with the 9 we already have, the 9 and the 1 together make 10. So the answer to that problem is 10 1/8. Now let's see if I can squeeze this. How about up here? 3 3/5, and you guys are supposed to be writing these guided practice with me so you get the idea of all the work you need to show. 10 is the common denominator. That already has a 10 times 2 times 2, 6, 15 tenths, and 10. 10 goes into, that's the same as 1 5/10, which is 1 1/2, added to the 10, 11 1/2. There it is. And am I still going here? Didn't we already do these? 1 and 4, we did. So these, sorry, these are, oh, they're going through the answers. Here, we don't need to do that. We already did it. Let me just get through these. But that's a good thing. Look at all the work. You can see all the work that it takes to write these out. Also number 8 here. Okay, so let's go to example number 3. The base of a sculpture is 1 1/2 feet tall. The sculpture is 2 2/3 tall. How tall is the sculpture with the base? So we add the base, which is 1 1/2, to the sculpture, which is 2 2/3. Common denominators would be 6, 2, and 3. That's pretty easy. Times 3 times 2, so that's 4. That's going to be 7/6. 3 7/6. Remember, 7/6 is an improper fraction. 6 goes into 7 once with 1 left over, and add that to the 3, so it will be 4 1/6 feet, because it is a story problem, so we need to put a label on it. So there, see how they get common denominators? Add them up, and they got the same. So number 9 in the guided practice, a clown is 5 3/4 feet tall while barefoot, and I think that's 1 1/3, kind of didn't come out very good, feet taller when wearing stilts. How tall is the clown while wearing stilts? So we're just adding 5 3/4 plus 1 1/3. So common denominator for 4 and 3 is 12, times 4 times 4, times 3 is 9, so that'll be 13/12. 6 13/12, can't leave that like it, so 12 goes into 13 once with 1 left over, so 7 1/12 feet. That's up there, especially when you're short like me. They're doing Nova. Okay. A lot of work they're showing us. Number 10, you want to cover a length of 32 3/4 inches and a length of 5 1/2 inches of wood trim. How much trim do you need to buy in all? So that's going to be 32 3/4 plus 5 1/2. So the common denominator is 4 times 2, so that's going to be 2 4. So 5/4, 37 5/4. This is 1 1/4, so it'll be 38 1/4 inches. There they have the answer for us. There it is. All right. Subtracting mixed numbers. There's, before it erupted in 1980, the height of Mount St. Helens volcano was about 1 17/20 miles. After the eruption, the height was about 1 3/5 miles. What was the decrease in the height? So that means they want us to subtract. So we have 1 17/20. It decreased, went down to 1 3/5. So how much did it go down? So our common denominator is 20. Times 4 would be 12. That already has a 20. 17 minus 12 is 5/20ths. So it went down 5/20ths of a mile. I can reduce those. Divide by 5, so 1/4 of a mile. The whole numbers 1 minus 1 was 0. That's why we don't have any whole numbers. Okay, so just remember to subtract. So this is 6 4/9 minus 1 2/3. Common denominator is going to be 9. That's 4 times 3 times 3. I'm subtracting. Is that right? I'm surprised they have us 6 4/9 minus 1 2/3. They have us, we're not supposed to borrow until, or rename until the next lesson. So you cannot subtract this because you can't take 4 minus 6. So you have to come over and borrow from the 6 and make it a 5. But when we borrow in whole numbers, we add 10 to it, but we are adding a ninth. We're adding 9/9 to it. So once I get common denominators, all you do is add the bottom number to the top. So it becomes 13, and 13 minus 6 is 7/9, then 5 minus 1 is 4. So that's 4 7/9. Let's see if we did it right. We'll do more of those. So okay, so 8 3/5 minus 2 7/10. 10 is going to be our common denominator, so times 2. So that's going to be 6. Can't subtract again, so I come over to the 8, cross it off, make it a 7, and you add the bottom to the top. It becomes 16. So 16 minus 7 is 9/10. 7 minus 2 is 5. So it's 5 9/10. So common denominators for 6 and 8, I think it's 24 is the best one, times 3 times 4, that would be 20. 20 minus 3 is 17. I could subtract that one, didn't have to borrow. So 7 17 24ths. This one, 2 3/4 minus 1 11 12ths. Common denominator is 12. Times 3 would be 9. 11, can't take 11 away from 9. Borrow from the 2, make it a 1. Add 12 to 9, it becomes 21. 21 minus 11 is 10 12ths. 1 minus 1 is 0. Chop both of those in half. The answer is 5/6. So they have us do some borrowing. I didn't think that was until the next lesson, but the borrowing's easy. Just remember you add the bottom. Once you get common denominators and you need to borrow, you add the bottom number to the top. That's it. And cross off your whole number. You are 4 11/12 feet tall. Your friend is 4 3/4 feet tall. How much taller are you than your friend? So that's a way of asking you difference. 4 11/12 minus 4 3/4. 12 times 3, that would be 9. That's still 11/12. 11 minus 9 is 2/12. 4 minus 4 is 0. Divide them both by 2 because they're even. You are 1/6 of a foot taller than your friend. Still, that's not a lot, but you are taller. Okay, so you're still getting common denominators when needed. You're still reducing and simplifying your fractions when needed. So just keep showing your work. It's very important. Keep it up. If you have any questions, please ask. See you later.